So, a lot of things about politics are bothering me, and not just in the sense that everything is ridiculous right now, but I also think on some level it's not as ridiculous as it seems. So, for example, a lot of people think that a lot of the behaviors of different countries is just completely irrational, but I think that there's a lot of things being overlooked. Like, for example, with Greenland, I've seen some people express that America trying to take Greenland is just crazy. Like, why would we even do that? What's the point of that? But then we find out that the tech companies want to invest in AI-powered mining of rare earth materials, which starts to kind of make more sense. But when it comes to things like Venezuela and Greenland, I think there's a bigger picture thing going on here. I think what's really going on is that the inevitable path for the future and the way that AI is going is that wherever the tech is, it needs to take over the entire world. And now we're at the beginning of something like globalism. It's just anarcho-globalism. And what I mean by that is, I think in general, before a society forms, I mean, obviously it's going to be anarchist, right? Like, that's how it starts. It starts with no order, and then eventually you build order. You build stability of some kind of system or structure. And that's obviously something that doesn't exactly exist globally, or if it did, it was through these kind of really weak just agreements of countries through, like, say, NATO or whatever. But I think we're going to head towards something where globalism is the only way forward because of the way that AI and surveillance and the ability to regulate and monitor people on a massive scale is now a lot easier. So the thing is, a lot of you already know there's the AI war, right? Like, we're racing to reach AGI or something like that. And that kind of situation is a little bit interesting because if you think about it, it's not that different than jihadism. Think about the people who are in power, the people who are particularly the people in tech, I should say, who are in power. The people in tech believe in this idea of singularity. And the singularity is, most of you probably know, but the singularity is this idea, let's just say it's like AI gets so powerful that we're essentially going to live in some kind of like utopia or heaven world. There's a lot of horrible other outcomes that could happen, but that's the one that people are hoping for. And the thing is, the people who are the tech elites are in a place where they hold a lot of responsibility, considering that the singularity might happen soon. And the thing is, whoever reaches that singularity first, like let's say China, or let's say it's Elon Musk or Sam Altman or whoever else, whoever gets there first, it completely will decide, at least in their eyes, this is the idea of it, that they will decide what the world is like from that point on. And it will be very different from all that we've known leading up to now. It'll be a completely radical shift. And so if you think of it that way, there's this idea that tech promises heaven. It's actually a lot like jihadism when you look at it that way. So if you think of it that way, it's like our decisions are completely based on kind of a cost and benefit analysis, right? Like, we look at things and think, is it worth it to do that? And in the position of the people like the tech elites, they're in this place where they must decide, is chasing the singularity worth it? And if it is truly this heaven-like world, of course it is, right? Like, that's the thing that will solve everything. It will solve cancer. It will solve maybe even death itself. It will solve nearly all problems. If not for everyone, at least for potentially the tech elites who are closest in proximity to the development of that technology. So, if you think of it like that, what kind of costs are worth, what kind of sacrifices are worth making to get there? And that's why it's like jihadism. In jihadism, it's basically like people are willing to sacrifice anything to get to this heaven-like world, right? And yeah, so it's not that different. And the thing is, with places like Venezuela and Greenland, I think there's a combination of factors of why America would try to take them first, I should say. I think inevitably they actually have to take the entire West or the entire world, but the West will be the first. And I think factors like the dominant spoken language probably will ensure that America will do pretty well at taking the West, I think. Because I think if China does it, there might be some issues with, maybe not, I don't know. Let's not even go in that route though, because that's possible too. And I'll say I'm not really against China. I have no idea if their tech or version of the future will be better. A lot of people say that their lives are better over there right now. And I don't think it's just a facade. I think it probably depends on which people, but at the same time, I think what's going on in the West is pretty bad for a lot of the people. And on some level, I think there is a mass hysterical element to it. There seems to be a lot of misinformation being spread like crazy online on all sides of the political spectrum and everywhere. It just seems like a very obvious occurring problem. And I think because of that, not only does it frame the way we see life much worse in a way that causes suffering on a more imaginary level, it's also producing tangible, actual problems that actually make life worse in a material way. Like in the sense of, let's say, all this stuff going on with ICE, like I'm sure there's a lot of really bad things that initially started with ICE, let's say. But at the same time, there's going to be people purposely amplifying the negative reputation of ICE in such a way that it's going to kind of, I don't know, it's essentially radicalizing ICE more and more and more, obviously. Like, that's clearly happening. But as that's happening, people will also perceive that radicalization as purely like having, I don't know what the word is, there's no connection to this dynamic polarization that's occurring between the relationship of ICE and the rest of, I guess, society in the West. So I don't know, it's pretty complex. There's like a lot of real material problems that initiate and seed a kind of psychological collapse that accelerates a material decline in reality in the West that's happening. I sometimes wish we could solve the psychological problems, because then this material decline would actually lessen and it doesn't have to be as bad as it actually is going. But I feel that it's almost like people are too stubborn to escape that, but that's a topic for a different video. So I think the thing with Greenland and Venezuela, they are assets to what is essentially an already emerging AI world. Like, if you stop thinking about America, you stop thinking about countries even. Think of it like the new AI West has already been born. It's not clear what it's going to look like in the future, because that's up for grabs, essentially. And so it's pretty much like Venezuela had a lot of social unrest, and that made it easy. And so doing the easy ones first, like Greenland and Venezuela, it's important because they need to develop more intelligence on how to perform these operations. Plus, over time, the AI surveillance potential and just the general intelligence is going to keep getting better and better. So it's like the timing of when moves are made is going to be when those moves seem secure enough to not be severely problematic, basically. And I think some of the backlash of the rest of the world, where they think that taking Greenland or Venezuela is going to cause like global collapse, I'm not actually convinced of it. I can see why that's a possibility, though. It's just, I think it's a bit more like, I think that the US likely is acting with a lot of intelligence before these decisions are made. Even if you think the administration is insane and horrible and corrupt and dumb even, I think that the decisions are not being made dumbly. I think they're actually being made probably, there's like a threshold of like when it's okay to take Greenland. So for example, let's say the AI surveillance. I think it's very clear that a certain country in the Middle East that shall not be named, that is very well known for its spyware and surveillance capabilities, is clearly collaborating with the United States and is I think because of that, actually, I think that's why the relationship right now between that country and the U.S. is so strong. It's because of the assets, the surveillance assets. There's also, I think, certain like escapes from regulation that are allowed because it's not the United States. So I think that's like part of what's going on there. But the thing is, consider like at some point the surveillance will be so high that I think that to even pull off, let's say, a nuclear exchange, I think increasingly that won't be possible. And the more that that becomes impossible because there's so much awareness of the status of everything and people's mindsets and stuff like that as people are being spied on, I think that essentially makes it so it's like less likely for a nuclear outcome, to the point that now they'll take Greenland because they know it's not a risk anymore. I think it's like that. But I also think there's an importance in maintaining the public awareness or belief that there is a risk. I also think the fear of nuclear situations is important to keep in the public, because I think that's part of the equation. People need to not want it, that's for sure, though. I don't know. So I think that essentially, like, there's going to be, like, it's almost like a chess game if you think about it like that. It's like there's going to be certain easy countries to take, but eventually all of them need to be taken if this AI situation is going to play out. And it has to, because if it doesn't, what will happen is that any country that's not part of it will be like the third world. It'll be like, I don't know, they'll just be not living in this supposedly utopian AI world. And so, I mean, that gets like weird. Like, what are we going to do? Just like let them be? Are they going to be like really outdated? But the thing is, people aren't really thinking on that level right now because they're used to the way the world is now, and they have no idea what it will be like, and they're afraid of it, and probably rightfully so even. But I think the idea of leaving them behind is a little bit sketchy, but it's not even just that. It's like the amount of power that's going to accumulate over time with like the intelligence capabilities, the surveillance capabilities, all this stuff, it makes it so that taking those countries would be easier and easier over time. Like, there will be less and less that they can do. And there's like a mix of things going on with that too. Like, I mean, it's hard to describe it. I haven't really gone into what I'm talking about with like the intelligence stuff. Like, I'm not just talking about like ChatGPT or something. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about technologies like Palantir, but probably things that we don't even know about too. Like probably the CIA and FBI are using types of AI to make it so that they can sift through immense amount of data, and probably collaborating with Meta and other platforms to use that information in very useful ways. And we already see that like emerging in practice, and it's coming up, like people bring it up all the time now on social media. People are very afraid of that. So like if you think of it that way though, it's like, I don't know, to perform kind of like the type of things that intelligence agencies would do to like change how, like let's say with like propaganda, it changes the nature of how propaganda can work, or changing the opinions of a population, turning the population against its own government, and so on. So it's stuff like that where like we already see that kind of happening globally. Part of me is thinking like, what if I just don't even talk about this? Let it just play out. Maybe if it's true, just let it play out. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting topic. I would actually want to be involved somehow. But I don't know, because I don't really see anybody talking about all these things. And maybe you're not supposed to, or maybe everyone who talks about it disappears. I don't know. But I kind of just think people aren't talking about it. I don't know, but I think that there's going to be, I don't know, I feel like I've covered everything, I guess. I think you get the picture of what I'm describing. So I hope you found that interesting and scary, maybe. So have a nice day.